Okay, day 3, still in the flatline phase, but that should go away, because all the flatline really is our brain making new neural connections and pathways. That's why we feel tired, and that's what the flatline basically is. But that's pretty much the point where I'm at the moment, on the road to my 100-day goal. Woke up feeling okay, got a fair night's sleep. Yeah, had a coffee this morning, had a shave and just taking care of myself. But I wanted to make a video about how God's presence will come back when you get on this path, okay? It's impossible to please God without faith and without putting our bodies, our vessels in subjection, okay, and allowing our mind to be conformed in conformity to Christ's mind. And it takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of effort, but if we've got the willpower and we've got that willing to, we remember our why of why we began our journey of no-fap semen retention in the first place, which was to eradicate lust and to get rid of that temptation and wanting to go back. And once you get beyond a certain point of retention, I believe wholeheartedly, you're free effectively from the biggest primal urge a guy and a girl can feel, and that is lust. And with freeing yourself from that, it has a ripple effect, and you can cut out all other bad habits in your life. So it gives you a tremendous amount of power, of spiritual power, and you grow spiritually, and every day you're on retention, you get stronger and stronger and stronger. And it's ongoing, it just doesn't stop. It keeps going, it's never ending, it's eternal. This gift is the greatest gift a guy could ever get on, is semen retention, because you free yourself from the bonds of wickedness. From a Christian perspective, you break curses, guys, you break curses. So all them strongholds that kept you bound to slavery, mental slavery, and that imprisonment and that limitation of I'm not good enough, and that mental belief, right? It can go away. It can be. It's just a matter of your willpower, and are you gonna do this for God, or are you gonna do this for selfish gain? Are you gonna do this for women attraction? So you've got to ask yourself these questions in order to be able to realize what's actually important about what's most important about this journey, which is God, okay, and putting God first on this. Okay, so yeah, God's spirit will come back to you at some point on this path, because when you're relapsing and you're living in carnality and watching pornography, going out, hooking up, that kind of stuff, God will resist you, because effectively you're proud and egotistical, and his spirit won't want to be upon you, around you, or within you, because you're choosing the devil. So you're offending the spirit of grace. So when you get on retention, ultimately, you're inviting God's presence back. Okay, and you've got to apologise to God. You've got to say to God, I'm sorry, okay, and you've got to mean it from your heart. You can't be insincere. You've got to be sincere with God, because he knows your heart anyway. And if you half-arse it and you make out that this is a kind of flimsy practice and you don't acknowledge the severity of your past actions and how you can make them better in order to please God and to become your best version, God will see right through that superficial, apologetic fakeness, right? What I mean is, be serious. When you apologise to God, be serious about it. Repent. Get back on retention. If you've relapsed, God still loves you, but He wants to see you not screw around with it and get back on it. Okay. I can't put it any plainer than that. Okay. Funny story. I'm a bit OCD, so I made a few videos yesterday about the subject that I'm talking about now, but I couldn't get it right, so I deleted them. That's why I didn't upload a video yesterday, and I had a day off in that regard. But yeah, I thought I'd make one now and just speak what's on my mind, rather than keep procrastinating it and thinking it over and over again. And you know, what was what I said perfect and good enough, and that kind of mental trick. You know, I honestly think it was just the enemy bringing confusion against me, because I kept praying about it, but I gave in to my OCD and I didn't put the video on YouTube, but I'm putting up one now, and I'm not really, you know, I don't really care about if what I'm saying is coming across in a perfect way. I just want to get my message out, because I believe that the enemy hindered me from speaking this message. So yeah, I'm putting it out now. But yeah, the Spirit of God will come back and remain with you a lot stronger and be with you a lot longer the longer you go on this practice, because there's been times I've woke up and I've been on retention, I've resisted big urges, guys, and I'll get blessed spiritually in some way. It could be increased energy, increased focus, mental clarity, and connection with God, because it opens up the communication factor, so we can hear God, most importantly, and He can hear us. Okay, because we're resisting our flesh and we are effectively living in the Spirit. Okay, so that's the main point of retention, and I feel God's presence while being on this practice so strongly, and I feel powerful, happy, full of peace. And when His peace comes upon you guys, it pretty much gets rid of all fear, because perfect love casteth out all fear. That's biblical, and that's how I feel when I connect more with God, and I want you guys to realise that as well. Yeah, so the main point of this journey is to please God. Okay, and yeah, I thought I'd just briefly mention about the flat line, because I found out a fact that I never even knew before about it, because I question these things. I'm like, what is this flat line? And it kind of boggles my mind a bit, but then I research about it, I watch videos, and try and logicalize it in my own mind so I can put forth my opinion of it, and hopefully it's understandable to people. But the flat line is basically our brain feeling tired and spent, because it's re-establishing the connections to the proper pathways of which will rewire themselves and rebalance themselves. So that's the process that's occurring within the brain, okay? So don't be put off if you're going through a flat line yourself, if you've recently relapsed, because it goes relapse, flat line, chaser effect, and then unwiring process. So the brain is basically moulding back into a pattern of discipline, and eventually you will find pleasure and happiness and fulfillment through the most menial things in life. So it could be making, going and getting a cup of water, for instance, or I'm just using that as a small example, because my point being, you'll feel better about the smaller things again, because your brain will be rebalanced and the dopamine circuits are going to be normalized again, so they'll be more sensitive to the goals we pursue in life, the hobbies and the sports and being active. It will find enjoyment in those things again. So that's basically what's occurring in the brain during the flatline process and it rewiring itself. That's the whole process. Okay, so yeah, just a small piece of information from my perspective. If you guys want to comment, feel free. But yeah, I hope you found this video encouraging, and I will speak to you guys later. Have a great day.